When you let your imagination run wild, you unlock magical possibilities. To see an opportunity, you must be in a state of positive energy and be open to all thoughts and ideas. And it all starts with your mindset. Do you tend to see a glass half empty or half full? Do you see opportunities nowhere? Or do you see opportunities now here? Life is about creating new opportunities and possibilities for you instead of waiting for them to come to you. Are you feeling stuck, bored, or frustrated with your career and life? Are you looking for a change but not sure what's possible for you? Well, today's episode on how to create new possibilities to change your life is for you. Hello and welcome to the Dare to Differentiate show. Whether you're tuning in live or watching the replay, I am so delighted that you're here. Comment to let us know where are you tuning in from and how was your summer? Hello, hello, hello. All right, we have a great audience so far here on LinkedIn. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Stephen. Hey, Sanjana. Hi, Francis. Hi, Mohammed. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Diana YK-Chan, LinkedIn top voice and founder of My Marketability, where I help you stand out, get hired, and earn more. All right, I want to share with you a client win story that's got to do with unlocking new possibilities. One of my recent clients made a huge career change with better work-life balance. She is pivoting from a career in communications to product and from the public sector to the financial services industry with an 18% salary increase. Huge change, right? Change of career, change of profession, and a better work-life balance. She was in a state when she reached out to me about a year ago where she felt stuck, pigeonholed in her career growth path, was really unhappy, working just crazy hours and weekends as well. And fast forward within this past year, she was able to unlock this new possibility for her through networking, through someone that I introduced to her about a year ago. And so I'm so proud of her. And so if you're looking to make a career change, I want to let you know that it is totally possible for you. If you're looking to get some more help with your career transition and job search, feel free to book a call with me through my website at mymarketability.com/call. And if we're not connected yet, make sure to follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. All right, so let me just check in the audience here. Who's in the house? Hey, Magdalena from Toronto. Great to see you again. Anka, great seeing you. All right, who else is here? Stephen, all right, amazing. All right, I want to make sure this is going to be engaging today. It's going to be a great conversation. I had an amazing summer. This summer, I was in Paris for 10 days, and then I was also in Cancun for 11 days with family. And then back in July, I took about a week off at a cottage as well. So it's been a great summer there. So today's show is a juicy one. Here's the agenda for today. It's all about how to create new possibilities for you. And it's beyond just career. We're going to talk about your whole life as well, how your career fits into your life. So here's today's agenda. We're going to be talking about Inthida's career journey of how she made a big career change and how she had an accelerated career path from manager to COO in 6 years. And then she pivoted into starting her own business the past year and running her first ever Paris Mastermind. And we're going to talk about the Paris Mastermind experience together and some of the key learnings and key impacts. I'm going to be sharing more with you about that as well. And then part 3, we're going to be covering some questions that some of you are interested in. We're going to talk about how to adopt a possibilities mindset, how to overcome your fears, how to honor your desires, how to reclaim your life, take control of your life as well, and how to reach your next level. So that's the agenda today. If you are excited about today's show, type in a +1. Type in a +1 here. I want to see that you're excited for today's show. Let's raise the vibrational energy here today. Awesome. So some housekeeping. Replay will be available. Some of you have been asking. The replay will be available. So if you can't catch the whole show, it's totally okay. Come on over to my YouTube channel where we'll be adding timestamps later on for easy viewing as well. Okay, you can use that to share it with others. And I want to encourage you to click like and comment anytime. Share your thoughts, key learnings, and questions. Engage with one another. And then the other thing is show your appreciation. Share your kind words to support our speaker. Type in hashtag go Inthida. Okay, so type in Go Indthida to show her the support. I also want to give a special shout out to my assistant, Jandale Carlo Catalonia in Philippines, who is also supporting me here in the group chat and engaging with you all as well. Give me one moment here. Must be too excited here. All right, so I want to introduce you to Inthida Ngeth, who is an executive coach and business advisor. So a little bit about her. Inthida is a dear friend of mine. She's one of my growth-oriented friends that I've known for 15 years. We met at work back when I just finished university, and she's been instrumental in helping me grow in my personal growth and business growth. Back in 2015, she left her corporate career to come help me in my business to really transform my business. We got a new logo, new website, new membership site, new courses. And that was when I also took some time off on mat leave, where she also helped coach over 30 of my clients. So she's been an amazing friend, amazing mentor. And whenever we're thinking about new possibilities, new opportunities, she's my go-to person for that. And I decided to bring her on today's shows because, I mean, I just finished coming back from Paris. So really want to bring her on to talk about what it means to create new possibilities for you, but also share with you to inspire you of her career journey of how these made changes. As you see in the news right now, there's a lot of news about quiet quitting, great resignation. People are looking for change. And I decided to have this show at this time because it's like a new season, new you, and I hope to really inspire you there. So let's welcome our guest speaker, Inthida Ngeth, to the show. Woo! Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so delighted you said yes. I know I contacted you just over the weekend. We didn't have a lot of time to prep, but I know it's going to be an amazing one because we're going to be speaking from our heart here today.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Amazing, amazing. So we're going to kick things off here. Let's talk about a little bit about you first. What's your niche as an executive coach and business advisor? Who are your ideal clients?
Well, my talent and passion is definitely to help individuals, teams, and organizations to become their best and achieve their best. And so I help specifically mid to senior level career professionals of all professions and stages to really become better in their leadership skills, be more effective at managing teams, at becoming more of a greater leader, whatever that means to them. So I help them achieve their goals. That's what I do with career professionals. And then as a business advisor, I typically work with founders that are of smaller tech companies who kind of see me as the person that they can go to strategize with, and like an extension of their leadership team. They can talk to me about their business, they can talk to me about their team, they can talk to me about what they want to grow into. So my coaching is very focused on developing the person and what they want to impact in their career and their life and their business, and everything's tailored to their unique goals. That's it.
I love that. And I just thought I'd share some context here. I know because you and I over the years, I've referred you clients as well. And the work that I do as a coach is really helping people change careers, get a new job. And afterwards, I refer them to you to help them thrive in their job, or for those who are in a new manager executive role, how to have great executive presence. And that's the distinction when people ask me the difference of career coaching is there are different type of coaches out there, right? Some focus on leadership, career advancement, and some focus on the career and job search there.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity to work with clients that are shared clients in a way, like you said. My specialty is definitely once people are in their role and looking to get promoted within their role or even expand their reach wider. What do they do? What are the problems that they're having at work? And that's really where I love to contribute. Yes.
Amazing. Awesome. All right. So my next question for you is, how did you accelerate your career from manager to chief operations officer within 6 years? Like, what's your key to success? And perhaps if we can give some context for those who don't know you, a little bit of that trajectory there.
Okay, so Yeah, so it's a very unique situation in the sense that, if you look at my career, what you're going to see is this variety of things, right? It's definitely, I was a manager in 2015. And then, like you said, I left to go and help you in your business. And in the same time, I was approached to help Rogers to create something else. So in my career, I have taken on, I would say, different roles based on what was my long-term vision in terms of what I wanted to learn, where I could contribute and add value. And that's kind of how I evaluate each opportunity. So I went from being a director, and then I went to being a VP in a different sector altogether, in insurance, being a VP of product, creating a technology and a product in a startup. So I went from big corporate to a startup environment. Then I landed in a mid-sized company where I shifted focus again, from product to now operations and managing teams across different kind of departments, to then being a COO at a tech SaaS company and managing global teams. So I think what you can see is that, what I'm going to share is that most of these opportunities came to me, but I was prepared to receive those opportunities in the sense that, I didn't necessarily go looking for them, but I was prepared to receive them because I was clear, I think, in terms of what I wanted to experience in terms of variety of my learning. And I was clear in terms of how I could add value, what I wanted to create and express through my talents and gifts. And so every single time, what worked for me is that I was able to transfer my skill sets and my learnings in each place and put it into other value for the company that I would work in. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah,
in terms
I
of my
love that.
trajectory.
I want to talk a little bit about what I'm hearing here, because what I've seen as a friend as well is it's, and I want to for the audience, when you think about it, like going into a big company, a small company, but also transition into like new roles. I know it's not easy, right? And so one thing I'm hearing from Indthida here is, one is you need to be prepared. Second is you need to know your own strengths and what you're really good at. And third is you need to have a clear vision of where you're heading. Like those are the things that it's really, really important. And one thing that I want to acknowledge, I know for you, is you're really big on relationship building, of building great relationships. Do you have some tips here on how to nurture your network, how to nurture relationships? Like, what's your best advice on that?
Definitely always treat everyone with respect, and always, come at it as how can you add value to the other person. I think that you hit on something very key here, is that all these opportunities came to me because of my reputation, number one, and because of the relationships that I have been building. And I've known most of the people that contacted me for these roles, except for two. But what it is that I think your reputation is so key, and your reputation comes from the people that know you and how you influence all the people that you meet throughout your career. And so, being always in a mindset of how can you add value to the other person, how can you serve them better, is where, the magic happens, is looking for those win-win opportunities. And each time I've had the chance to evaluate one of these roles that come to me, I'm always looking for, like you said, where is it that I'm brilliant at? What kind of value do I want to bring? But what is it that they're going to win? How am I going to contribute to them? Right. And if I can't see that I'll be able to contribute well, then, it's not a good fit. Like, I want it to be a win-win situation.
Win-win.
And then create that context of what looks good for both of us, both parties. And so I think one thing to realize here in my career journey that might not come out is that I've been able to really shape each time what I was going to do. But I came to the table with how I wanted it to be. Right. So people have ideas of what they want. And then if you're clear about how you're going to contribute and what value you're going to bring, how you want to express your talent, in what context, then you can propose that, and it becomes like a win-win situation.
And so what I'm hearing here is like understanding the need, but also what are your wants as well, and how do we make it like a win-win opportunity for both?
Of course. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Can I dig a little bit further? Because for those who are looking to
Mhm.
create a new role or pitch that next level role to get promoted, how do you go about really influencing or pitching, right? I know you talked about the win-win, the value added. Any like more practical tips of how to go about doing that to make them be like, that's a really great idea, or we need you to do that?
um, I really believe it comes down to how you show up and
Mm,
what like how are you able to show up to showcase your personal drive and passion for what you're going to be doing for people, because the truth is people want to work with people who are just as passionate and driven about their mission and you got to get on board with that. So I think that when you're truly on board with that, it comes through in how you pitch it. And I think you got to be authentic in terms of, like I don't see it as a pitch. It's really being authentic here about what is it that you can contribute and describing that. And I think one of the learnings is that if you come at it from a standpoint of what can you co-create together and elevate together, then automatically I think the other person is willing to hear you out here.
mm.
Yeah.
I love that. Give me
And
so
like
much what I'm
asking,
learning.
like, right? Like ask the other
Yeah,
person.
I
Like it's
love
a
that.
two-way all the time. So, yes, you're applying for a role, but it's a two-way conversation here. It's not one-sided. I think
Yeah,
when you approach it from that standpoint of what you're here to bring, what the other person is bringing to you, it's a different energy. You're having a dialogue that's completely at the right level is what I mean. You're not trying to pitch yourself. You're trying to find the best ways you're
yeah.
gonna work together.
I
And
love
that's
this.
always the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, if you're here, type in what are some key learnings you're hearing. Like I just heard, be authentic, ask, co-create those win-win opportunities that adds value to both
Yeah.
of you, that's meaningful for both of you as well. So for those who are just joining in, welcome to the show on how to create new possibilities. We just talked about Inthida's career, and now we're going to move into talk about the Paris Mastermind vision and experience. And for those who don't know, Inthida just ran her first ever international Paris Mastermind, luxury mastermind that I had the honor to be part of as a participant. So, and I want to take this opportunity to talk about this overall vision of yours, the experience and the impact it had on me personally as well. So let's kick things off. Nita.
Yes.
What was your vision for the Paris Mastermind and why did you create this?
Oh my God, I could talk for so long about my vision. So, fundamentally, as a coach, I'm driven to empower other people to develop into their best self. And truly, like, this came out of my true desire to want to empower women to really step into their full potential and really activate and ignite possibilities beyond what they imagine. And when I think about my personal life and my transformation and my career, but also my personal transformation in my personal life, I've learned a lot of things along the way. I've also made a lot of mistakes. And I felt like, just like what Gandhi says is like, be the change you want to see in the world. And fundamentally, like my why is I really do want to see more extraordinary leaders in the world. I believe that women have a role to play in that, to shape that, because I believe our world is going to be better. But they need to be able to bring that and know that they have that potential and it's possible to have the impact that they want, the life that they want, in like the lifestyle that they want, and be joyful and receive and all of that. And so I was like, how do I do this? And so my vision was like, how do I like express this feeling that I have through like all my life experiences? Because it's kind of a little bit outside of my executive coaching, right? Because it's more of a deeper level here. And so I decided to create this context, right? I was like, you know what? I'm going to put together this mastermind where I want to bring an intimate group of women because that's my contribution. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to express, is to help them. It's like, I want to be the change agent that creates and empower other women to then have them empower and impact other people. And I need to tell them that this is what they're here to do. And so I created the container, I guess, by going to Paris, but also because Paris holds a special place for me. And I wanted to really bring together the full experience of what it feels like, what it smells like, what do you sense, what it tastes like. And so this intimate group was really key for me, that, you know, when you're trying to do something that really is going to shape and transform someone, one is, I think you have to be in a group that is very trustful and create that safety, and it has to be smaller. And two, I wanted to bring people out of their comfort zone into my native France. I mean, Paris is where I was born and where I have a lot of great memories and where a lot of possibilities started for me. So I have a special connection to Paris, and I've always wanted to share Paris with the people I loved, including you before, right? We were always like, when can we go together? And so for me, I was like, wow, well, why don't I marry all the stuff I love? You know, the traveling, the pleasures, the culture, into this mastermind where it really is possibilities, and having the women that were participating see and feel and sense it completely, by being exposed to inspiration, being exposed to what's possible, and having breakthroughs in that environment. So that's how it came about. That was my vision and my true desire, to see at the core, you know, more women transforming, more women doing greater things. And it's like, how can I bring that forward? And it's like, this is how I would bring it forward, is creating the context for it, which took the form of this mastermind.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that beautiful vision of yours. And I have to say, I remember vividly when you shared with me about this. I was so excited for you, and I really want to be part of it. I didn't even know all the details. I'm like, sign me up, I'm there. And I remember, can we talk a little bit about the Eiffel Tower artwork that you have? And remember, it started there when we had this conversation. Can you do a little bit about that you did that painting yourself?
Yeah, so sorry, here we go. Anyways, the painting was basically in February, early in the year. You know, you see how like all the signs kind of contribute to like make it happen. And I was painting with my daughters, and I decided to paint this. And it was January or February, and it took me like 3 months to finish this thing. And you know, it was like, wow, like I keep thinking of Paris. I keep thinking about, you know, wanting to do this. I'm just going to do this. I honored my desire, which we're going to talk about doing this. And yeah, look at it. It came full circle.
I love this. And I want to point out some key learnings I'm hearing for all of you. For those who are looking to create new possibilities with this topic, is first, you know, having this vision of yours of what you really want or care about. And in this case too, like Indthida also had this painting that really just, it's like the vision, right? When you visualize something, it's going to, you get your attention, and it's going to get you excited about it as well. Right. Absolutely. So I really want to acknowledge that. So let's talk a bit more. Let's talk more. I want to welcome those who are joining in right now. We have more people joining in here. Let's talk about, how did you take things from great to extraordinary, despite some of the challenges faced there? Maybe get some context around that, how we made it even better experience for all of us.
Well, I think it was always my intention for it to be absolutely like extraordinary. I think that if you know me, which you do, for most people that don't do, is I have very particular standards of how I do everything. A certain quality that is exuded in everything that I do. And so, you know, I wanted to make sure that all the experiences that I was creating with the mastermind, because the mastermind was, you know, the learning in person and the formal learning, but it was also, you know, what was around the learning. So it was like when we were going out to dinner, or how we even go out to dinner, getting like I wanted the whole thing to be very supportive of the vision I wanted to create in terms of being extraordinary from start to end, but also what it means in terms of possibilities. Like the theme that I had to transpire into everything that I was doing. And so one of the ways that I took it from great to extraordinary was actually that even when I had setbacks, should I talk about this setback?
Yeah, why not?
So because it is about possibilities, right? So what happened is I went in April to Paris to kind of make sure everything was good, and I tasted everything, and I went to all the places again. And while I was there, I had booked off everything, and when I was there and I went to the hotel where we were going to be and where we were going to have our training, what happened was, the director contacted me the next day, and he's like, I'm really, really sorry to tell you this, but because they were going through some renovations to make the place even nicer in their restaurants and stuff. And he's like, the renovations are not going to be completed on time. And so the room you had booked for the seminar is not going to be available. And there's no place, would you like to move the dates of your mastermind? And I'm like, if there's one thing we cannot do is move the date. And so you have to realize it's April, I'm there, and I could have gone into a huge panic mode.
Yeah.
And I took a step back and I was like, wow, okay, so how do I, what's possible here, right? Like, this is just a little setback.
Possible?
What's possible here? What can I do? I could have gone and tried to look for a complete other venue for everything. Or, I just asked, what's possible here? How can you help me? And so we ended up finding another place to host the seminar portion because I really wanted to stay at this place. I took so much time looking for the right place for us. And I was like, great, I just found this place. And they had this beautiful, beautiful 1940, beautiful Belle Époque cupola in the restaurant for where the venue was going to be for the seminar portion. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. We're going to stay here and it's going to be even better. And then they go to me, well, it's in August and actually the restaurant's going to be closed. I'm like, oh, okay. So first I had to find another venue. Two, I was like, oh my God, now I'm going to have more problems. But I was like, all right. So I took that as a challenge to make the experience even more extraordinary by going outside and, adjusting our time frame a little bit, but bringing the group to different lunches so that we could actually experience more of Paris and more of the better things in Paris. And so it allowed us to have 2 extra lunches completely different outside. We went to La Durée, which is the best macaron place, but also they serve the best signature vol au vent. And we went to the mothership of La Durée, the headquarters that happened to be there. So I took that opportunity to tell myself, well, I'm not going to let this setback hold me back, or I'm going to take that to actually transform it into something better. So I hope that helps a little bit for everyone, that, if you encounter something, always look for what is possible and actually how can you make it even better in this instance.
I thank you for sharing the story. I think it's such a powerful story. Of the key learning here is when you have faced setbacks, don't let it knock you down. You want to be resourceful and solution oriented and ask what's possible and how can I make it better. And in this instance, you made it even better, where we got to experience a different venue, different lunch places, different food. We got to walk around to explore more of Paris as well. And I mean, you could have taken a whole different direction. I felt so stressed that this is not going to work out because you had this original plan in mind. And sometimes we may have this original vision, but things may have to change accordingly depending on what's happening in that current state there.
Absolutely. And I think that if I didn't have that mindset, I could have been spiraling down and stuck
Absolutely.
into what's not possible. And so I think this is like key is like when you have this mindset, things always work out.
Yes, the
Things always work
possibilities
out. The
mindset.
possibilities, yeah, for sure.
And we're going to talk about that, how to have that possibilities mindset. Can someone type in the chat room here, like comment, right? Have a possibilities mindset and things will work out with a possibilities mindset there. So let's talk about this, about the experience. How would you describe the Paris Mastermind experience? And do you want me to share about from my perspective first, or would you like to start?
I mean, I know how it felt for me as a host, but I would love for you to share how it felt for you.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? So in summary, I would say first of all that the experience was definitely very magical, very transformational, um, very empowering. Very, I just felt like when I was there every day, like if you were there with me, I was always very giddy. I was very happy and grateful of everything. I was in awe, like awe-inspiring type of experience. And every day was full of new surprises. And one thing that I really stuck for me, and I shared this with Inthida before, was that this trip, what I loved was that everything was taken care of, right? From the moment we arrived at the airport, where transportation was already arranged for us, to arriving at the hotel where we were greeted as VIPs during our stay, and we got our rooms upgraded as well. And we received these gifts, beautiful gifts from Indthida with like flowers, where the room instantly smelled beautiful, and candles and soap, all these beautiful things that she loves. And it just made us feel really special, feel like queens. Like I knew from the beginning it was going to be really special there. Um, and then from the training itself, or the mastermind itself, is the 2.5 days. What I loved was very experiential. I think what I realized about myself is I'm not someone who likes just to take an online course. I like to experience things. And this is why over the last 10 years plus decade, I've always taken programs or courses in person, because that's where magic and transformational happens. And so when I think about these experiences you create, like the welcome evening on the terrace, where we're all like in this intimate setting, where we were give us this message, a story of yours of what resonated with me was that you're meant for something big. Like that was a kickoff message, like that you're meant for something big. That just really resonated. And then we got to explore around Paris on a tuk-tuk.
Yes.
Right? Is that what I say? On a tuk-tuk? Or like in the evening around Paris, and we got to take these amazing, beautiful pictures, and I was just all in awe. I was like, wow, this is like the scene of Paris there. And then the surprise you gave us was we had dinner on a boat cruise on the Seine River. And I think, I don't know, it was just such magical. Like especially when the moment when the Eiffel Tower, the lights lit up, like I was the only person at the top there taking pictures. All of you were all talking, but I was like, I'm going to take some photos here. I'm going to snap some stuff. And it just felt really special. Like that was very, very special to me.
Yeah.
And then over the next course of the next 2 days of what you had, like this is something I would tell people, that it's so hard to describe what it is, because you got to be there to experience it. Like I knew for the next following 2 days of all the things you've had for us, we had to be there to experience it, to learn it from one another, to relate to each other's stories. Like I had some major breakthroughs myself. Like I cried a lot, we laughed a lot as well. And then what I loved about this, that I would look at it too, was like there was like the learning itself and networking, connecting with others, but also the experience of just exploring. Like we had wonderful dinner at the Eiffel Tower. I think that was one of my highlights, like going to the Eiffel Tower, having dinner, fabulous dinner by like a Michelin star chef as well, and staying up late to take pictures as well. Like walking around was really, really special to me there. And to top it off, can I just say, to top it up at the end, like, one of my highlights too, well, other highlights, many highlights, was we had a personal shopper to shop on our very last day of the mastermind. Like when it ended, we all had about 3 hours to shop with a personal shopper. We were greeted as VIPs, and I've never ever in my life had a personal shopper. And so I prepared, like I had my vision board, I had my list of things of what I wanted, And with the personal shopper, I was able to get the items I wanted within a couple hours.
Yes.
And I've never had that before. Usually it could take me a few hours just to pick the right foundation, for example. So that was very special. Like that was my new way of thinking, like, okay, this is how I would like to shop going forward as well, like having a personal shopper. And after that, we had a dinner on the rooftop to see the 360 view of Paris, which was so magnificent. Like that was so special.
Yes.
So that was my perspective as a participant.
Oh.
I was like, every day was new surprises. Every day was like something different, like new restaurant, new food, new culture. And it was just so beautiful. Like that's how I would describe it there.
Thank you. Well, it was absolutely, like you said, magical for me too. I think that when you bring people together, there's really like this energetic upgrade that gets created, and it's just like magic in the container. And one of the things I get back from the participants, and Frida is here with us too, is that they have a really hard time describing to other people when they go back, like what happened and what they walked away with. And because transformation is really experiential, and you can't really describe what happens if you're not in the room. And so that's like the beauty of it, is it was truly beyond, I knew what I intended to create, what I wanted, but I think the group came together and it was just beyond anyone's imagining. And I think that when everyone came, they had a certain expectation and thought of a certain, I'm here to like enjoy Paris, learn a few things. And then on the kickoff night is like, let me shatter all of that. You're here to like transform your life, and you're meant for something. And so I think for me, it was like really important to set the tone right away for what people were here to do. And it was completely a different level. And so when you talk at that level and when you empower at that level, you get breakthroughs at that level. And, of course, what happened in Paris is very confidential in terms of what we did. But like Diana said, there were like breakthroughs, there were tears, there was sharing, there was so much happening. And the whole experiences around like was all about, I wanted to awaken everyone's senses. Like even what I created, even what I gave in the box was about the five senses. If you notice, like there was tea for your tasting, there was like scent, there was feeling with this, like, so it's funny because it's like only after I can talk about the intentions of what I did, and where I took you guys, and what I did was very intentional to support what it was that you were living and feeling and experiencing, all of that. So
that's so
I could not
beautiful.
have been like, it was like 100, it was like, there's a score of 100, there was like 110 for me in terms of what we experienced together. And I'm so grateful for you to have come, for the other people to have come. And
it was definitely special. Like I would say it's very special, very wow, because for me too, like I brought two other my former clients who came with me as well. So that was amazing, that I, for the first time meeting them as well, to experience this together with. So that was very special. And what I realized also from this experience too, right, because I also went on a family vacation afterwards, was that the importance of really having a group of growth-oriented, purpose-driven group of women, like a circle, what you call it, the women's circle here, to support one another, because you can feel that energy that people want to support one another and champion each other as well. And that made it really special. Like, actually, can we talk about this experience, about our shopping experience at Dior? I just need to talk a little bit about this, because I talk about possibilities. Like, this is where it opened my mind. Like when I think about, because when I think about a lot of the work I do is career, like one of my big takeaway for the audience here is, how does your career fit in your life? And what's the overall life that you want? It's beyond what you taught us. It's beyond just careers. It's the overall life that you want. What are those desires and ideal lifestyle that you want? And how does like work fit into that? And so what shifted also my perspective, like we had twice we went to this Dior shopping experience, like very VIP. We had like a personal shopper as well. But what was magical, like we actually stayed there for like 3 or 4 hours. Like we were the last ones to leave the first time with me and Frida. And the second time was like all of us, like four of us were like upstairs at this VIP room. What was so special, I felt, was it's like that new possibilities, right? It's like we've never had that before, but experience that new next level of what's possible and how it makes you feel, right? It felt amazing. Like it felt like 3 hours didn't seem long, even though it is a long time. But because of the experience itself and the people that you're with, it made it very fun, very pleasurable. Like it was just a great experience. And so that's the idea of the why you talk about transformation needs to be experiential is through that, is that you're seeing, oh, these are the new possibilities. This is like what could the new normal be? Like this is what's possible for you versus coming from that lack mindset. I think that's the big change. Like even I want to share a very personal, vulnerable, my own impact that I'm going to share with my audience here, because it's my own show here. It was like for me, like even I remember as I was preparing for this and talking to you, like what was I going to pack and what was going to wear? And I remember I brought my outfits. I'm going to share this. I don't talk about this.
You should share it.
I remember like I came to see you and talk about like what outfits would I bring. And I shared with you all these outfits that I had from the past that I've been wearing over the years. And I remember you said to me what my new elevated casual is, right? Like no more like t-shirts and shorts. Like I knew that's not going to be like for Paris, but it was a big aha. But what was big aha for me was when we went for a quick shopping trip that day. And I'm actually wearing this dress that you picked out for me. I'm wearing this new dress.
Doesn't she look beautiful?
That you picked out for me. And I love this color dress, obviously, because it's my color, but I usually wouldn't pick something like this because it's short. I have not been wearing dresses for quite some time, especially after kids, and particularly short dresses. And I'm getting emotional now because it was quite emotional because I kept telling myself that I can't wear this because I'm a mom now. And I remember you saying to me how beautiful I look, or how beautiful and how amazing. And that really stuck with me. And so anyways, I made this purchase, but because of that, my entire trip, I was wearing dresses. And my entire trip to Cancun, I was wearing dresses. And I just felt so good. And when we talk about honoring your desires, I felt so good. But I guess my point here is that lesson here is sometimes you need to kind of have someone to guide you through that, to acknowledge. And I'm sure people can I don't know, relate to this, right? Like that I may have like some challenge with how I saw myself. Like I think my big learning I told Indthida was I had this in my mind that I was like much bigger in size. Like I went from like big size that I chose to like you kept pushing me like that's too big on you. Like you can keep going smaller and smaller. And so that gave me a lot of confidence. I think what I'm getting at is like the confidence in how I see myself as well. So anyways, that's not something I usually share, but because it's my show, I know I can share it.
I love that you shared that because it's so important for other people to also give themselves the permission to, experience something different and see and unlock that possibility for themselves. And that was all, because you experienced that when you went to the personal shopping experience, you had a different outlook and perspective towards it. Like you were able to like actually expand yourself more and lean into like this expanded possibility and actually feel better and feel good about it, right? So I think it's so important, like to experience, like just to step into it, like transformation and possibility is really about like trying it on, like doing it, like being in it. There's no other way.
I love that.
In it, right? And then it like programs your mind to always keep thinking that way and being that way. And so I mean I was so proud of you for seeing your beauty, and like of course we all have our self-beliefs and things like that, but it was so powerful to see you break out from that and like see much bigger for yourself, for how you look, for what you can attain now, for the shopping that most of us wrong our desires, right? Like Maybe people listening here, why would they go and have a personalized shopping experience? The thing is, like, whatever you desire, whatever possibilities out there that other people are doing is possible for you. And you shouldn't wrong what you want and desire. And so that's one thing that I want to really leave the audience with, is like, you should really honor your desires, whatever it is. For me, I love shopping. I love personalized experiences. I like everything VIP the most that I can have. So I wanted to bring that to the women, right? And I wanted them to feel that expansive possibility and how it makes you feel. And like, whatever you want, you can have.
I love that.
Truly.
Don't wrong your desires. I think that's a very
Yes.
key lesson learning here. And you know what? Because when you said trying it on, experiencing and seeing yourself in a new light, when I came back from Paris, I had a week back home. I was like working and preparing for my next trip. First time ever, because I didn't have a lot of time, like for my next trip, I purchased 5 bathing suits online and I kept 4 of them. And it's because I knew my body better, that I recognize what fits me better there. And I've never, ever had that before. I know this is very personal here right now, but it's something like when you know yourself and when you see yourself in another light, the way you make decisions and pick things becomes easier. And it feels much better.
Like the way you relate to yourself is different.
Yes.
So you make different choices and actions.
You make different choices in action there. Amazing. Amazing. All right. What are some of the key learning? We're going to move on to another topic. Like this was so beautiful. We went deep. I didn't expect this. We really went deep to talk about Paris. But now let's talk about some practical tips and advice for our audience here. Like, you're here, type in a +1 or let us know, like, how are you feeling right now? Are you inspired?
I want to hear your questions. Yes. I guess we need to go to our questions first.
We can let us know the questions you may have for us as we're talking about this, because we're talking about beyond just career here right now, what we're talking about. So we're going to dive into our topic questions, and feel free to chime in and ask us questions here, probably the next half hour that will be going on here. So first of all, why is it important to have a possibilities mindset?
Well, I think, as you can see, for me, a possibilities mindset creates a better life. Period. And, if you want to attract greater opportunities, if you want to have the life that you want, you cannot be in a fixed mindset. You have to be in a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is about possibilities, right? It's about, having and acknowledging that anything is possible, so that you can, let life unfold. Like, you can limit yourself, or you can say, here's my field of expansion. Like anything, you're inviting life and everything else and opportunities to come into this bigger field, right? The bigger field you have, the more opportunities you have. And ultimately, it is about serving you to reach your goals, reach your potential, and reach a better life. That's really it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, Frida's here, and we had Steven says +1. All right. Experience is a key foundation for any transformation. Anka said, Paris is my favorite magical place. Travel always shifts your perspective at any stage in your life and career. Absolutely there.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's talk about here. How do you really adopt a possibilities mindset and create new possibilities for yourself?
So I think the first thing is to, whatever you're doing is acknowledging first that anything is possible, like believing that. If you don't have that belief, you're not going to recognize the possibilities that are coming to you. So I think when you believe, like truly believe that anything is possible, then you automatically have a different frequency and can see and recognize when things come to you. So first, you want to believe that anything is possible. You want to ask yourself, like, because you believe that, what I think happens is you constantly ask yourself in whatever situation is like, what's possible? Why not? And you ask for things. So not just like in your head, but you like actually consciously take action towards solutions and towards making things happen in the what's possible. I think those are two key things. And for you to adopt a possibilities mindset is, you already have more of a possibilities mindset in certain areas of your life. And in other areas of your life, you have more of a limited possibility mindset. And I think it's important to recognize that we're always on a spectrum. And we're always here to push ourselves further. And so know that it's already within you. You already have this capacity. You're just not exercising it in all areas of your life. You might be more like possibility oriented in like the things you're really good at. Right. And so you have less fear and things like that. And so what I'm inviting people to think about is to shift that into like, I already know that I'm capable of like accepting that a lot can happen and anything is possible. And so how can you stretch out in the areas of your life that you feel more limited to actually adopt that same mindset, to look at it that it's possible in all areas of your life.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I hope that answers your questions, Lee Chen. And she asked how you figure out what is possible. Maybe if we can go a little tactical here, like I don't know if you have a scenario or an example, is how to come up with those new possibilities, the process itself. If like, I don't know if you have an example you can share with that.
Yeah. Well, I think the process itself is like shifting your focus, right? Like if you concentrate on what's not, let's just pretend like you're feeling stuck in your career and you're feeling a little depressed and things like that. Part of what happens is we always try to look for external circumstances to blame. Like I'm feeling stuck and I'm all this because my boss is not great, because this is not supportive of me, blah, blah, blah. The truth is, you have to look inside and you have to look at like, how can you change that current reality for yourself? And when you're trying to change your current reality for yourself, you have to know that your current reality, one, is not your future possibility, and shift your focus on like, where you want to go versus like what's keeping you like stuck right now. If you're in the what's keeping me stuck energy, you're not focused on another energy, which is like, instead of like, I'm stuck because of all these things, it's like, actually, where do I want to go? What do I want? What's possible here? The possibility is like this great relationship with my boss, this great job, this great role. Like, so seeing the good ahead and training your mind to shift that completely is one, it requires flexibility on your part, but is really important because only from a place of where you can generate better, good energy and where you feel good, can you truly breed more clarity and create more possibilities. You cannot invite in positive possibilities if you're in a state of misery.
Okay,
so like, you need to like concentrate and shift your focus on, pay attention to what will make you feel good when you're looking ahead, right? So like shifting that to look ahead and generating a different energy, getting yourself on that frequency of what you want, taking inspired action towards what you want, is where you're going to see the possibilities open up. And you're going to know that, everything around you is going to organize for your success because you have made that shift. You have made that shift of energy, and energy is your compass. You can always shift how you want to feel simply by training your mind and training yourself to look ahead. I think that's really important. And to choose, okay, like choosing to want to take charge of this, to like making a change and evaluating your thoughts. So always think when you choose, like you have to first choose that you want to get out of this rut.
Yeah.
Right? By looking, like if you don't choose that consciously, you're going to keep doing this stuff and keep staying in stuff. So you want to choose consciously that you're going to train your mind to look ahead, to concentrate on generating a different energy, feeling good. And you also want to evaluate what is your self-talk and the thoughts that are happening in that
Yeah.
situation and control that.
Yeah, yeah, that is
Right?
so powerful. I want to acknowledge a few things. I've been typing some notes here. Some of the audience will probably see this on the YouTube here. I think it's so important, especially with the work I do. When people come to me, they're usually feeling stuck in their career, right? Not been doing this for too long, feeling bored, toxic boss, toxic work environment, working crazy hours. It's in a place of obviously negative energy, right? And so what really resonated what you said is that it's hard, or you can't really identify positive possibilities or new possibilities from a place of misery or from a place of stuckness, right? Because what tends to happen, I see this a lot, right? Especially if you're in that, what I call the desperate energy, when you're very desperate in landing your next job, what you really see is more, okay, all I can apply for are these opportunities because that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years, 10 years, right? It's very, very common. I'll tell you that if you've been doing something for a long time, the possibilities you see is just like, well, these are only my options because that's what I know. But when you come from a place of, hey, I'm in this new, say, country or new environment, I'm going to really explore of what's possible. I'm excited for this new chapter in my life. I'm excited to meet new people. I'm excited to work with amazing projects and solve amazing problems. You're going to start seeing different types of possibilities for you.
Yeah, and you come from a different standpoint versus like if you come from a place of lack, you're gonna lack.
Mm.
Okay, so that's why a lot of what's happening of like what we create out in the reality is the ingredients that create that reality come from ourselves, come from our
Yes.
mindset. This is where you can control it, is you have to train yourself to reset,
Yes.
refocus, and like literally just choose. Like you might not feel great every day, but then like you just choose to step into that other energy by making a small step to just train your mind to say, okay, how do I want to feel today? How do I
Yeah.
create and generate that better energy? Because all the good things that will come to you come from a place of when you feel good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anka just said, I agree. Evaluating your thoughts daily is very important. Always control your self talk. I think this is so
Yes.
important, especially like the language. I know you talked about this. The words we choose to use matters. Like when I hear people say that I'm broke, let's just say I'm broke, like that I don't have any
Yeah.
money, or that you're going to come from a place of lack. I mean, and you're going to track that versus like, well, what's possible here?
Exactly. Like, I mean, I can I share a story, because like there are so many women that wanted to come to this mastermind. Okay. And here's the thing. They were stuck in a lack place. Like, oh, I can't afford it, or like blah, blah, blah. The thing is, they didn't ask, well, what's possible?
Mm,
Okay, I had
that's
two people ask what's possible in a different way. And I supported the what's possible. I'm here to create possibilities if people desire possibilities. But first, you need to get clear that's what you want,
that you want
right?
it and you're going to make it
That you
happen. And
want it, that you're going to take action to make it happen. And so I think it's so important. And the last point I want to maybe mention is that I think you want to also practice gratitude for
mm,
what um, for yourself, like practicing gratitude in the sense of the fact that you have the answers,
mhm.
like reminding yourself that you are grateful for your situation to be able to control, to be able to
Yeah.
like shift, and I think when you do that, you train yourself better to
Yeah.
advance your possibilities, to shift into a place of energy and to shift into a different standpoint where you stand to receive differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to summarize this because this is a very deeper conversation. Like for those who are really looking to make a change, like first you need to want it first, right? Claiming that I want this, even
Yeah.
though you feel like I don't know how I'm going to do this, like the how, like we're stuck in the how am I going to figure to do this? And it's really first like you want to commit to saying that I want this. But then second is like asking what's possible, whether it's asking yourself or asking others of how can you support me, or what are the other options here that we could co-create or make happen to facilitate this change as well. I think that's really
Absolutely.
important. It's ask piece we talk about. It's like asking for it as well, right? If you don't ask, you don't get.
And no one knows.
And no one knows.
No
Right?
one knows.
This ties, I want to say something, because what I do as a coach, right, in the space of salary negotiation, is it's always a transformation for those of my clients who actually negotiate. They're like, if I ask for a bonus, are they going to take the offer away? Or if I ask for like a 5K, 10K, 20K more base, is that going to be like a big no-no? And when they've learned to ask, like that recent story I just shared, my client who made this huge change from public sector financial service, from communications to product, she asked, I coached her to ask because she was losing out on some of the benefits, and she was able to get a signing bonus in addition to the base salary because she has all these vacation accumulated. And she was so scared to ask. But when her husband was telling her, just accept the offer, just accept the offer. And I'm so glad she listened to me, the coach, to ask for it, because by asking, she's like, I never thought I could ask for this, that I could actually get a signing bonus or get more pay there. And that made a huge difference. It opened up a new even mindset shift for her possibilities of you just have to ask.
You just have to ask. Yeah, similarly to one of my clients, I just said, go ask if there's a budget for coaching. And she never thought of that, like what's possible here to support. And, it opened up. Yes, there was. And it was like a no-brainer. Yes, no problem. Sign up anytime. So I think it's really important that when you are in this possibility mindset, it's not just in your head. You have to actually take the action, and you have to ask. You have to make it known what you're trying to do and what you're trying to create. And that's really powerful.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our next question. We got some juicy conversations here. I just want to acknowledge, what are we having here? Yes. Anka said, you have the power to create your dream life. Yes.
This is all we're talking about.
Yes. Attitude determines altitude. Yes. Awesome. Amazing. So for those who are just joining in, we are in this show right now talking about how to create new possibilities. Our next question here is how to honor your deepest desires. And perhaps we can maybe talk about, what does it mean to really honor your deepest desires? Like, what does that mean to people, and how do we really do that?
Well, honoring your desires for me is like giving yourself permission to dream bigger, to go after your dreams and the dream life that you want. And so many of us are scared, right? Are having these doubts about ourselves. And, honoring your desires means that you give yourself permission. You dig deep into discovering what it is that you truly want, to feel, create, live, experience. And I think that one thing that that is a major shift is that we think that our desires are not real. Your desires are the seeds of truth in you. They've been coded since the beginning of your life inside of you, that you're meant for something bigger. Your desires are a connection to what you want that is bigger in your life, right? And so, one thing that I talked about in the mastermind is that we listen a lot to our head, right? But we're like a being that is mind, heart, body, all three elements, soul, right? But like we spend 90% of our time listening to what our mind is saying, and what our heart is saying is where our desires are. And we kind of like shut it down, like it doesn't belong to us. And the thing is, like, our desires are seeds of us. They're like true seeds of what is in potential for you. So the fact that you're even like feeling that desire, like it's popping at the surface, like there was already growth inside here before the plant comes out. Like it can be manifest in your reality if you accept to actually listen to it. So I think it's really important that we no longer deny our desires for multiple reasons. People deny their desires because of fear, because of all these things, but to recognize that your desires are seeds of you, just like your hand is your hand. Your desire is like your truth. It's like a real truth. It like is. And so, when you think about your life, and every time you listen to your heart and you went for something big, you like had like joy, and you like were excited, and it worked out, and it was greater than you expected. But when you don't listen and you like try to fit into somebody else's expectation or deny, you have blocks. You experience blocks throughout. So if you're in a career and you feel blocked, you have to really ask yourself, was that my true desire? Or did I just do it because of X, Y, Z? And truly deep down, that's not what I really want to express and feel. So I think that, honoring our desires means to, one, acknowledge that they're seeds of truth, that they're real, that they belong to you, and that it's okay to no longer deny it. It's okay to acknowledge them, and, to shift yourself into what can you do? What can you do today? Like the audience today, what can you do today to take a small step towards honoring your desire?
That's a very
realize
powerful question.
that there's a spectrum, right? Of like, there's desires, like, you there's a spectrum of where you are and a spectrum of what your desire is. But in a spectrum, like the spectrum exists, right? So it means that you can always get to your desire. Like, this is the law of polarity. It exists for you. You have to just get out there and accept and acknowledge it, and then work towards bringing it into fruition, your potential, like aligning your actions towards, honoring your desire. And when you do, like seriously, life organizes itself. Possibilities happen miraculously, like magic happens all the time. Because you're attracting that. You're in good energy. Because the truth is, whatever your desire is in your heart, and your heart is home.
Oh my goodness, this is so powerful. Oh my God, this is so, so powerful. Your heart is home,
Like,
and I just want to.
your heart is home. Like, that's where you'll feel the best. And
Look what Anka
yes,
said
and
here.
like yes, and your
Heart's your
heart,
second brain.
your heart is actually your main brain, in the sense that there's 9 times more connections in the heart going out to other places, and that's where our intuition is. And the heart starts developing before the brain in a newborn. Like, like, and so we've been programmed not to show up to honor our desires for many evolutionary tendencies, which we won't go into. But we're not the generation of that. We have to understand that we come from we're part of a larger history, and our history now allows ourselves to honor our desires more than any generation in the past. This is what I want you to know. It's like, you've come to a place of human evolution where this is your moment and your time to honor your desires. There's like no more stopping it. You're like the generation of purpose, the generation of impact, the generation of honoring your desires. And I truly believe it. And I want you to like step into it. Like, there's seeds of you. You wouldn't question if your hand is your hand, if your heart is your heart. Your desire is yours, and it's real. Like, accept that it exists and it's real. It's true.
I love
when
this.
you do
Oh my
that,
goodness.
honestly, it like creates magic.
This is so powerful. For those who are just tuning in, like I hope you can feel this passion and energy from Indthida. And it's to give you an idea, like this is what it felt like on the Paris Mastermind of the whole experience, where she really spoke from her heart. I think this is so important. This is something I talk a lot about as a speaker and helping people with communication, is that it's much more powerful when you are speaking from your heart versus your head, or when you are choosing things from your heart versus your head, right? The logical mind versus what the heart says. Especially when I see this a lot with careers, like when you really trust yourself of that you're meant for something big, or you're meant to go into this direction of a new career because your heart tells you so, versus the logic mind saying, well, am I going to start all over again? Am I starting from the bottom? But it feels like I don't want to start from the bottom. If you're coming from that place of that lack of fear, you're not going to make that possibility or that new change, when even though deep down it's not right for you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where you're going to experience blocks, and eventually you're going to change direction because you weren't honoring your truth. You weren't honoring your heart. And I just want to acknowledge for everyone that we have been programmed to listen to our mind so long. And our mind is there to keep us safe because of our evolutionary tendencies. So it doesn't like change. It has its upper limits, but that's why you have to recognize that to honor your desires, you need to actually reboot your operating system. You need to reboot and train to like let go of your psychological fears and mind trying to lure you into safety, trying to keep you into this like safe environment when this safety no longer exists in our world. It's not like a physical threat, you know?
It's so powerful.
Yes.
I'm sure this is resonating with a lot of people who's listening right now. And one of the takeaway, the question that Stephen wrote here that you gave us is what's one thing you will do today, big or small, to move you closer to your desire? What's one thing? Type it in the comment. Let us know. There is power in sharing and declaring as well. I'll tell you something. Like one of the things I just did yesterday was, I got invited to this LinkedIn instructor reunion event in New York City. Right? It's about an hour and a half flight from Toronto here. And I knew I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to go. And I decided to make it happen. I was like, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to contact some friends to see if I can stay with them. And I'm so excited when my friend is hosting me. And I'm going to be meeting other fellow content creators and coaches. And so I'm going for I think 3-night trip there. And Indthida, honoring her desires, is coming as well that later in the week to celebrate my birthday with me as well, just for a 1-night trip. Just for a 1-night trip here.
Yes,
honor the desires there. One small action. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I know she's excited as well. And
for sure. Like you literally asked me like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh yes, what does my heart want? Of course I want to go. So why not? Ask yourself why not? Like why not? And the thing is, like, what is the worst that's gonna happen? Sheesh.
Yeah.
There's only good things that are going to happen.
Only good things going to happen. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. We got to move on to the next question here.
Yes.
So
yes.
Let's talk about the fears piece. This is actually it's really aligned with overcome your fears or the doubts. Like, what if, some people are telling people say like, well, I want to honor my desires, but I can't afford it, or I'm afraid of change, or what will people think of me? Like, how do we overcome these fears or triggers of ours?
So I think you have to recognize what kind of fears you have first, right? And I think there's fear of the desire itself, fear of like being shut down, fear of, there's multiple fears. So try to first identify what is that fear. And you're going to realize that your fear is actually psychological, right? There is no fear that like threatens your real safety here. And so the word fear is actually wrongly used in a way, right? And fear, I want you to recognize that fear is the highest form of self-sabotage. So, if you have a fear about something, think about all the different people that have actually overcome that fear. Like if you have a fear of failure, if you have a fear of public speaking, if you have a fear of whatever your fear is, there's people out there that have overcome this fear. And remember that everyone started somewhere. And remember that your fear is psychological. And so you have to understand that you have this fear because you have certain beliefs and stories about what is possible for you. And I think that's really important. That fear comes from a story that you've created about yourself, about other people, and about how life is going to support you. And so if you can recognize in your story about, like you have to understand first what is holding you back, why, who are the people that are holding you back, what are your true, fears, and then kind of like identify within that, like, what is the pattern here and what is the story you're telling yourself about yourself? Because you can only step out of your fear if you start to like want to create a new story for yourself.
Yeah.
And the new story for yourself is something that is empowering, is that you are capable of overcoming this fear because tons of people have done it. And if they've done it, you can do it. Like you are, they're not more special than you. Everyone started somewhere. All the iconic figures that you love, all the legendary figures, I like to refer to Oprah or other people. She started somewhere. She had fears. She just never gave up on her beliefs and on her personal dreams. And she had all these fears like throughout her life. But it's like committing to overcome that, right? And understanding that you need to release these old stories about yourself in order to like step into it. Even if it feels uncomfortable, is take that small step in action. Start engaging in your life instead of being paralyzed. And again, in that fear is like, what is possible? And so start taking a small step that still makes you feel safe.
Ooh,
So live in this, like stretch out, right? Stretch out of your comfort zone, but in a way that still makes you feel safe. So in this magic zone, the magic growing zone, I would call it, of uncomfortableness, where, and know that you have to, if you truly want to live the life you want and open up these opportunities, you have to be flexible and open-minded to say, hey, I'm going to be a little uncomfortable. And I'm going to live in this zone of uncomfortableness, and it's going to be okay.
And it's going to be okay. Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And if I have a setback, it's part of life. This is how I learn, and this is how I'm going to continue on. So I think that like overcoming our fear is really, it's truly psychological, and it's about our beliefs.
The beliefs that we have. Yeah. What's the story that we're telling ourselves?
Yes. Like, why are you thinking that? You've been programmed at one point to think that because of your experiences, your life, whatever.
Yeah.
But because, if you want anything, someone has done it. Someone has lived through that fear. So you can, and the key ingredient is how you control that. Your mind is to get through it slowly, right? Like rewrite it.
Yeah,
rewrite your story, right? Like you've had things in the past, you have your present, you can choose your future. Choose your future to be that you're going to take a step forward.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, this is so powerful. Okay, I only have a couple of questions left. If any of you here have burning questions for Indthida, please type it in because we're going to be wrapping up soon. I just want to acknowledge some comments here. Susan said that she's going to cancel an interview for a job that I don't want. Yay! Yes! Can we celebrate this?
Yeah, just because someone asks you doesn't mean that's what you want inside. Perfect. I love that.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to acknowledge this too, because there's a lot of times it's like, what are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? Just because someone asks, like you said, you don't have to say yes. If it doesn't feel right, it doesn't get you excited, you can say it's not the right fit. I'm going to decline it.
Absolutely.
So amazing there. Anka said, honor the desires by connecting with the right people and stay curious to learn and grow. Amazing. I love that. Love that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Stephen has a shout out here. Indthida, I've been following you for a bit, and this discussion alone shows why you're worthwhile.
Thank you. Wow. This is so nice. Thank you.
That's so amazing. Stephen's been following me for quite some time and been watching my live stream. So thank you for your support, Stephen. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for your support.
If you can type in some of your golden nuggets as a post, Stephen, or any of the audience here, tag us, tag Indthida as well. Like, it's such a deep show. This is not something I typically talk about. It's beyond his career, which I love because it's so important there. So my final question for you here, Indthida, is really for those like how to really reach your next level and full potential.
Step number 1. Step into radical possibility, right? Like really step into it, saying that, wow, life is full of possibilities. Anything is possible. And, most of you don't know me personally, but like my life is full of incredible possibilities where if you asked me 5 years ago, It's just like, how did she even get here? How does she even, so step into this radical possibility mindset. Like the moment you say, and you might not have to believe it fully right now. You just have to say to yourself, I'm going to always adopt this possibility. Just even committing to that, it's like already a step forward. Okay. Then I want you to basically stretch into, any pathway for growth requires you to stretch. And I want you to live in this magic zone where you can stretch yourself outside of your zone of comfort, but still feel safe. And in that zone, try to envision your future self, try who you're trying to become, right? Because a lot of things is like, whatever you want, if it's not available for you yet, it might not be all your external circumstances. It's just that you're not showing up the way you're supposed to become in order to receive that. So you have to start to lean into who are you supposed to become in order to receive that. And so that requires you to stretch outside of your comfort zone a little bit to live in this kind of growth zone. And then I think, you need to obviously honor your desire. Whatever your heart says is whatever will make you feel good, and take concurrent action that's aligned with that. And lastly, I want you to develop a commitment to completely become unstoppable. And what I mean is that whenever you're trying to reach a next level or growth, you're going to hit some setbacks, because our mind doesn't like us to stretch outside of like our limits, just like your thermometer, right? Like it wants you to stay at the same level. So you're going to experience some edges. And so I want you to leave your self-doubt behind. And I want you to simply acknowledge and recognize that that's normal, and that you're going to commit to yourself that you're going to be unstoppable in your desires, in your honoring your desire, in living your greatest life, in making it happen. And surround yourself with the people that you need to support your growth and your intentions. I think that's really key. And if you think about your life and all the time you spent for other people in your career, making their goals of that company happen, imagine what would happen if you spent the exact same quality of time, even 10 hours a week, crafting your extraordinary life. If you dedicated time to honoring your desires, like the quality of your outcome would be changed immediately. Right?
Absolutely.
So I think it's important to realize that the quality of ingredients that go into your head to create the vision is really important. Your vision for your life is only possible and only contains the ingredients that you want to put into it. So you got to train yourself to experience greater possibilities. You have to have quality ingredients that go into it so that you can attract better things. Really, that's key.
So beautiful. I love this. One of the questions that you asked us at the beginning of our mastermind that really resonated with me was, what's the next level of commitment to yourself? What's the next level of commitment to yourself? And I actually made a post about this. I actually wrote it down. And when you ask that question, like for me, because when you're doing the work, like I know, like for me, I had like goals for like business and all that. But when you ask that question, it was bigger than that. It was about living a legendary life, like honoring my desires, feeling like having great and fun, memorable memories. And
Yes.
it's asking that question to yourself that will allow you to be like, this is what you're committed to, and align your actions with that. And so I love what you said about, imagine like committing to spending like 10 hours a week to your own life, creating the masterpiece of your life. And when you think about that, then the career can come in. Like, how does career fit into this masterpiece of your life?
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it beautiful. Like, I love that question that you had for us there.
Yeah, and I think the audience should ask themselves that question: is what's your up-leveled commitment to yourself now? What are you committing to right now, right? Now that you heard this, because your career fits into your life. And what you need to realize is that when you make an up-leveled commitment to yourself, it's not like one thing happens and then the next thing happens. step by step. It's not like a mechanical process. It's like magnetic, and it's momentum in all areas of your life. This is what happens. It's like when you unblock something, it creates this magnitude effect that unblocks everything else in your life. And when you show up like this in your life, you open up everything in your life that way. So it's really important for you to recognize that it's not mechanical, it's not linear. and so your career fits into your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. We're going to wrap up here. If you want to share like just that one nugget, like what's an up level commitment to yourself, or even just share with us, like what's your biggest takeaway from today's discussion here? Let us know. We always want to hear in the comments like what really resonated with you. Really want to give a shout out to Indthida as well. This was just a deep, juicy conversation. It's beyond like the typical job search stuff I talk about, but to me, it's so necessary because in especially I would say in today's climate, when you think about everything that's been going on in the world, there's a lot of negativity as well, and there's all of challenges I know as well, and people are really re-examining life for themselves. When you think about why are people leaving jobs or quitting jobs, is they're really rethinking about that. So we really want to encourage you from today's show is really thinking about what's possible for you. How can you really create the masterpiece of your life? And what's that up-level commitment to yourself that feels good and honoring your desires? Like those are the questions we really want you to walk away from today's show there. And feel free to tag us, give us an update, DM us, let us know. We want to hear from you as well. So let's just look into comments. What are people typing here? Stephen said that the mind and heart do not need to be polar opposites. They can work in conjunction with one another. Susan said, continue on the path of joy and gratitude. Amazing. That's great to hear that. Okay. What else here that Stephen wrote? Possibilities exist when you design your life and mindset to allow them in. They could be in front of you. You may have to stretch out of your comfort zone and search for them, but they are there. Amazing. Yes. Amazing. Oh, this was so good. So, Indthida, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's next? What's on the horizon for you? Retreat 2023?
Absolutely. Mastermind 2023 for sure. I think this was such a success, and so many people have asked me, have asked you, have asked other people, like what happens? And our group wants something else. So, definitely I'm going to be planning a different mastermind, a secondary mastermind for 2023. And I want to do more of this work. And I think that, when I coach people, again, it's your life and it's your career, it's your business, but it's really beyond. And I think that if you bring this joy into all that you do, and if you look at your life that way, you're going to create such a better impact, and you're going to live such a joyful life. So, I just want to continue to impact other people, to allow you guys, thank you so much for coming in and listening in to us today, but have you think about like, how is it that you can actually apply this in your life now? That would be wonderful.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. And I know you and we're going to be doing things together. You inspire me as well, that I want to create my own retreat as well. Like I have this big vision of, I was imagine what's possible here? Like, what if people who want to get more career clarity and where they can go away for a week in, let's say, Cancun, and where they have downtime to reconnect to self, or bringing a group of women together as well, where they can enjoy like a spa wellness week to take care of themselves and pamper themselves.
Absolutely.
So I'm thinking new possibilities inspired by you from this Paris Mastermind there.
And that's the point of it, right? It's crazy. It just has this ripple effect that creates better change in all around. So that's amazing.
Around. Absolutely. Yes. So there's some shout outs here. We have Anka said, thank you so much for an inspiring conversation today. Key takeaways to find your purpose, design your dream life, and have your career fit in the life you want for yourself. Oh, you wrapped it up so beautifully. Thank you, Anka. Oh, hey, Valerie. Valerie's here as well. Like the mind and the heart. Love it. Thank you for this amazing conversation. We're so glad you were here today. We really hope that we inspired you today. It's the new season. We have 4 more months left before the end of the year. So go make it amazing and great, and have a juicy life as well. Thank you so much. And Feel free to follow us as well. That you got all the links here up below, and stay tuned and stay connected on my next show that will be coming up. I will be planning some private webinars and also some private, also public, private workshops where we can possibly meet in person as well there. So until then, stay, have fun and stay safe. Cheers.